Hi, welcome to She Spice. So Nick Cannon has at long last ended his quietness on the Diddy charges. Anyway, it would have presumably been exceptional assuming he remained quiet, since reports are currently surfacing guaranteeing that Nick himself could have been a casualty without acknowledging it. Tales are coursing that something upsetting ended up nicking when he was simply beginning in the business, and purportedly both Diddy and Jamie Foxx did something to youthful Nick C when Nick was only 13. Jamie encouraged him and Nick dozed on James' love seat, like how Diddy coached Usher at Puffy Flavor Camp. Now Jamie is no more abnormal to Diddy's scandalous gatherings, and he was even permitted to keep the absolute most stunning ones. Some time ago, this association is currently causing a stir, since there's continuous hypothesis that Diddy could have played a part in James' new well-being alarm. Certain individuals think Diddy attempted to quietness Jimmy, who probably has a ton of implicating proof against him, not long for every one of the ongoing lawful issues surface. And now that Nick is shielding Diddy and calling him a companion, it has just energized more hypothesis and worry among fans that something awful happened to him when he was living with Jimmy. So is this going to bat for Diddy? What really went down when Nick was remaining with G Fox and going to Diddy's parties? We should separate it with all that has been going on with Diddy, and there's a ton of things that we most likely don't have a clue about. The subtleties on. However, we as a whole outwardly looking in alright. So Nick Gunn is raising a wide range of eyebrows with his new remarks about the Diddy claims, since he in a real sense said he feels obliged to safeguard Diddy. So there's this interview with Nick that as of late re-emerged online from an episode of his Gathering Society where he talked about Diddy with Yan Benzant. Presently Nick said he feels for Cassie and recognition for her. Anyway, he declined to straightforwardly denounced Diddy's activities, and he even said it's difficult for him to say anything pessimistic about Diddy, since he knows him by and by. I find trouble when I've gotten some information about individuals that I realize about it was either Breakfast Club or Angela Yee or something, and they got some information about Puff, and I responded to it as genuinely as I probably was aware how to answer it. I know these individuals, they're not simply people of note to me, so I need to nearly do this dance about when it comes up, cause similarly, however much I know Diddy, I know Cassie, I think what they raised resembles. I saw that I sort of the truism. I'm petitioning God for Cass attempting to find the high recurrence in realizing the story, knowing the proper thing to discuss. I was like, this is somebody who was harmed, who was misled. However, at that point, when this question goes somewhat further, like, so what might be said about Pew? I don't have the foggiest idea how to feel about that. Stand by. What do you mean you don't have any idea how to feel about it? Whether you know somebody by and by or not, right will be good and bad is off base. And we as a whole saw that horrendous video of Diddy putting his hands on Cassie, so dislike there's any uncertainty left about what Cassie went through. However, Nick didn't stop there. He then proceeded to say it's difficult for him to criticize Diddy's activities since Diddy was there for him in his period of scarcity. And afterward, Nick likewise said his first nature is to shield Diddy, notwithstanding understanding what he did. So what might be said about Puff? As I don't have any idea how to feel about that. When I was going through my stuff, somebody that called minded me, stood by me, went to bat for me, and I like. Do I, however, what does that mean? Remained by. You defended you well when no other person would safeguard me, or whether it's Puffy or whoever you need to be their sibling first, not their PR specialist, but rather as a companion, and as a sibling, I'm it. Need to guard yet. That is not your work, that is not my work. So your recommendation to me is here and there. You say I'm a hold remark, that is my sibling, and I will save remark. So that returns to what this is tied in with recuperating in the public eye. As our fellowship, it ought not be in the back public. Now, there is something very unusual with Nick's remarks. I mean, on the off chance that he truly has a tangled outlook on his sibling, why even consent to discuss what is happening openly? He might have effortlessly remained quiet, like the majority of Diddy's industry companions, who are currently behaving like they never knew Diddy, and trusting that the tempest will blow over well. Here's where it gets truly questionable. So a few reports are presently surfacing that Nick went through something that truly wrecked when he was a youthful, hopeful rapper and jokester, and word on the road is that both Diddy and Jamie Foxx had an impact in defrauding Nick when he was excessively youthful to try and comprehend what was happening. See, before Nick became famous in the business, he encountered Jamie, Fox and Jime took him under the care of him and welcomed him to remain over at his home. As a matter of fact, in one meeting where G discussed how he used to keep Diddy's wild gatherings, once upon a time he uncovered that Nick was only 13 when he rested on his love seat. I would make an appearance to the party in my little U, in a little town vehicle, their town. I grabbed me a town vehicle so I could skirt. T puffed the SUs, and the RO bowed remains the entire night he gets out. I get out too with a camera, the huge ordnance like you puff. I ought to report this. Right, yo, what's up, Playboy? What are you discussing? I said I ought to get this man you frightened, and he says, better believe it, let him through, excuse me, so I get it. However, at the time, it resembled a little camera. It was the huge, meddlesome gun. I had a battery pack hanging on, man. Let me change the pack, put my light on here, rehash that puff, rehash that I missed that one rehash that put the pack on, so I began following him. Wow, so I followed him the entire time. I watched Puff at the Beverly Slopes Inn shoot this, and it's a pool party that is ludicrous. Out of nowhere, I get this, and afterward, I flip the camera. This way, there's more and some youthful buddy. I don't have any idea who the man is, so I said, Puff, who that goodness, that is the youthful feline posed inquiry. I said, cool. So I asked More, I said, is it cool? In the event that she say, sure, anything you realize it was likely a wild night, sure, so I watched when they first, got together. So what happened was, I'm following Puff, and his gatherings were like astonishing, and in Philly. One day, you profited from Nick Group used to rest on my sofa. 13 years of age, he is in one part of the house he likes. Can I return? Return in there, you backpack in there, you can't come in here. He likes this. Now, what was up with these developed men welcoming these youthful male stars to live with them? It's precisely the same thing with Diddy and Usher and the entire Puffy Flavor Camp circumstance. I moved to New York City, and I lived with Scene Puffy CS for a year. That is the insane thing now. That was Lareed's thought. Right, we're sending you over to something many refer to as Puffy Flavor Camp. There you go to learn Flavor Camp. That is what it was called, and you will go to Puff Daddy's. He's going during the 90s. Do you comprehend what that resembles? Puffy's place was like just loaded up with chicks and org like constant. No, not actually. I mean, except for hello. It was interesting. I had an opportunity to see a few things, no doubt, except for you. 13, where you see. I went there to see the way of life, and I saw it, and it was nevertheless. I couldn't say whether I could enjoy and figure out what I was in any event. Seeing it was wild. It was so no one attempted to make you realize some lady didn't go along. I didn't say that. All right, I didn't get out. Whatever I said is that there were extremely inquisitive things occurring, and I wasn't guaranteed to comprehend it. Afterward, there's one more fascinating lineup between Nick Gunn and Usher, and the manner in which they dealt with Diddy's ruin. See that interview that you just saw of Usher on Horse Harsh that was kept back in 2016, well before this multitude of Diddy claims became visible. And that wasn't the main time Usher transparently talked about Puffy Flavor Camp and conceded he was excessively youthful to have been participating in that sort of way of life in another, as of late re-emerged interview. Usher conceded that his encounters at Puffy Flavor Camp are the reason he actually experiences difficulty resting right up till now. And afterward, Usher said he and Diddy would tussle and battle since Usher was mostly certain, possibly by mistake, that Diddy needed to assist him with his music profession. Anyway, it seems like Diddy had different plans because of being around that man. Seeing Puffy comes. I don't rest right up till now. I have an issue dozing off this day. Like, man, I'm here to work. I ain't saying in 7 days. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm letting him know. No. Look, you're going to place me in the studio, man. Man, you got Biggie Smalls in there. You got Craig Mack in there. I haven't arrived to party with you. I would rather not go to the clubs. I'm matter of reality. I'm excessively youthful to try and be in here. Why you got me in gloves? We would battle, we would tussle presently. It's likewise intriguing that during that Howard Harsh meeting, they inquired as to whether he would send his children to Puffy Flavor Camp, and he quickly said, "Damnation. No. You're a father currently. Would you at any point send your child to Puffy Camp H no C? Except for get this after this multitude of claims about Diddy's debilitated way of behaving surfaced out, all with a lot of receipts and genuine film of him putting his hands on Cassie. Usher unexpectedly shifted his perspective and asserted that being at Puffy Flavor Camp was the best thing that might have happened to him. I don't figure I would be the craftsman that I am today without the encounters that I had in New York City, however, so extraordinary to have had those encounters since when I didn't have an elder sibling and my father wasn't." Subscribe She Spice for more videos.